Hi everybody, just a short one today, and apologies for the hat. My hair is a disaster, so this is the best I can do on short notice. I've got a quick thought about Mongolian Mindset, which about nearly 3 weeks ago now posted a live stream that looked at Jeff Epstein and his typology. They came to the conclusion that Epstein is an INFP, which is what first caught my attention. But it's not what the issue is here. For the whole thing seems to have been ill-conceived and I believe was a mistake. And as I said, it took me several weeks to think through exactly what the issue was and to come up with the correct answer. But I do think I've got it now after considering what went wrong here, then whether to say anything about it. And so here I am. The issue is not whether or not Jeff Epstein is typed INFP. That's a red herring. Mongolian Mindset uses the type grid system from C.S. Joseph, which is based on heavily on Linda Barron's interaction styles, which is actually the DISC system, and so it's conflating DISC with MBTI, which are two different things, but it uses the MBTI letter codes, so it just makes everything a little more confusing. I think I'm an ISFJ in the system, but be that as it may. The issue is not that Jeff Epstein is an INFP or any other particular type. The issue is he should not have been typed in the first place because it plays directly into the hands of those who might seek to normalize and humanize someone who should not be treated as a normal human being. Jeff Epstein was, I believe, and psychologists would know more about this, others could speculate, but I believe was a malignant narcissist, a sociopath, with other serious psychological issues or psychological damage traits, and yet he walked among us for a very long time. That island was in operation for more than 20 years, and who knows what he was doing before then, but basically had, through charm and what other effects he had at his disposal, managed through this criminal enterprise not to be caught for more than 20 years. I mean, yes, he was sent to prison, I think, briefly once before, but really, given the exploitation of children and teenage women over a very long period of time, plus all of the other things that are coming out, this is not a person to treat as a normal human being. So normalizing Jeff Epstein plays into the hands of the likes of Steve Bannon. Even if it's laughing at him for sounding like a moron, it brushes aside the fact that this man was somehow able to walk among us undetected. And yes, after the fact, it's easy to say there's something that's clearly off here. But for decades, no one brought this man to task. It just slipped through the cracks again and again. It is a cautionary tale that we as regular people need to be more vigilant of our vulnerability to those who are out to harm people, communities, and society for their own personal gain. So that's the more correct position. Not giving this man the spotlight at all would have been a good idea, or else having a spotlight on the psychological disorders that this person has, but not regular old typology to say like, oh, this is just another personality type. That was ill-conceived. What may have been a good idea in its place is that there's Mrs. Joffrey, who is very brave in stepping up and speaking out publicly against Epstein. There is video footage of interviews of Mrs. Joffrey, and she could have been typed a personality type. There could have been speculation about the types that were the victims of sexual assault, of child exploitation. And perhaps a good idea to talk about, because there are hundreds of victims, if not 1,000 or more, we're certain to have all personality types represented among the victims of Jeff Epstein's criminal machine, to talk about their suffering and their recovery and their strengths and the cognitive tools that they have to overcome the wrongs that they've been subjected to. That would have been an interesting conversation to have. And that would have put the spotlight to everyone who is more deserving than the one man who really should get nothing but condemnation. So that's my thinking. I believe that's the correct position. Mongolian Mindset screwed up. I'm not looking to be a social justice warrior here. I'm just laying out that this was poorly conceived. There was a wrongness here in the ethics of what could have been done or should have been done. There's nothing that can be changed about it. What's done is done. The video's posted. That's down the memory hole. But it is something where I can demonstrate INFP thinking and where I see the framework for the correct ethical approach to this. The moral compass is slow, but it does end up pointing true north. And in this case, it was obvious to me from the start that doing this with Epstein was ill-conceived, but trying to sort out what would have been why it was wrong and what would have been the most correct approach took some time. So anyway, that's all I've got. Nobody cares, no one's listening, but I had put in the work to come to this conclusion. So if I had not said something now, I would also have been providing consent by remaining silent. And as for the commonness or rarity of INFPs, I would state that I think that this video has gotten, that is the live stream Epstein video, had gotten more than 100 comments. I don't think a single one has considered this particular position. So I don't know. You tell me about the commonality or rarity of the introverted intuitive types. That's all I've got. Bye for now.